third paragraph might talk about how you were not someone who stepped up to the plate as a leader very often, but during your senior year, you stepped up, you were the captain, and how you led your team to another regional championship. And then you might close it off by saying that soccer is very important, and all of these lessons in perseverance, hard work, and leadership have impacted you greatly in your life and made you a better person. Okay, so let's say, do y'all kind of get the general format here that I'm talking about? So what do you think about that kind of format for an essay? Dry, boring. Anyone else?
Like most of the students that are finding the A's, they can write like a 5-paragraph basic one if they're getting A's or B's in their classes, they're at that level, so they can do that, so you want to see something individual.
That's right. That's very good. Anyone else? I think that's a good sum up. We expect students who are applying to UVA to be able to write well. So, do you think this essay is going to make, that type of essay is going to make a difference in an application? What do you think? Who thinks yes? Raise your hand if you think yes, it will make a difference. Okay, raise your hand if you think no, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah. Do you think it's going to hurt an application if you have an essay like that? What do you think about that? Do you think it's going to hurt the application?
I think that it'll make them seem kind of average, so it'll go along with whatever other grades and things that they have.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It's not going to hurt you. Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with that essay. It's well organized. It tells me something about the student. And, it's grammatically correct, right? So it's not going to hurt an application, but it's not going to help an application. And what we just talked about is what you want is an essay that's going to make you stand out from the rest of the pool. That type of essay is not going to make you stand out, which is why my colleague calls them a McEssay. It's like when you eat a Big Mac. I like Big Macs. I do. Every once in a while, I like to have a good Big Mac. But the Big Mac I have in Charlottesville is going to be the same as the one I have in San Francisco, which is going to be the same as the one I have in Paris. They taste the same. They're good. There's nothing wrong with the Big Mac. But I will never say that is the best Big Mac I've ever eaten in my entire life. Okay? Because they all basically taste the same. And these essays, these 5-paragraph, as you very rightly said, the 5-paragraph essay, basically sounds the same. And I hate to say this, but that first thesis statement gives away the whole essay. I don't have to read the essay that closely. I could probably, just from that thesis statement, recite the rest of the essay, okay? Because you've given it all out in your thesis statement. You've given the whole topic out. So now 5-paragraph essays are not bad. I hope that your English teachers have taught you to write them. I hope that you use them frequently in your English class, and I promise you that when you get to college and you're writing a research paper, you're going to use that format all the time. But the college essay is not the time to use the 5-paragraph format. And what I mean by 5 paragraphs is the introductory paragraph with the thesis statement, 3 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. We all know that format, but don't use it for your college essay, okay? All right. So here's another example, which I'm just going to speak about this example again. So let's say you're going to write about community service. How many of you have done community service? Okay, everyone. All right. So let's say that you were writing an essay about community service, and it went something like this. This past summer, I built houses in Appalachia for community service with my church. And it was a wonderful experience, but I have to say I was a little nervous when I went into it because I wasn't sure what type of people I would be confronting. I had this image of the type of people who lived in Appalachia. The first day was a little uncomfortable. We had kind of some uncomfortable, sleeping situations, and, when we first saw the people who lived there, they kind of kept their distance and didn't really approach us very much. But by the second day, they were coming out and bringing us lemonade. And by the third day, we were really beginning to have a lot of conversations with these people. And they smiled and were so grateful for all the hard work we were doing to build their houses. By the fourth day, I really began to meet these people and understand them and feel like I was having conversations with them and know their names. And what I learned at the end was that these people were not that different than me. Even though I was nervous about them and even though our situations are different, these people were really the same as I was. We were just from different situations. And it was a great experience because I was able to learn that lesson. So what do you think about that? Boring. Textbook. Trying to sell yourself a little. Yeah.
All of these dull essays that you're showing us are about morality issues, not like wider subtext or interesting concepts. So it's sort of like, I feel like I'm in church.
Okay, yeah. Anyone else? Yeah?
I thought it was fully expected. Like, you go to Appalachia, you didn't know what you were expecting, but yet everything that the reader was expecting actually happened. So if you're reading it, you guys are like, this, I didn't think this could happen, but yet it happened. And then you still want to read more because you already know how it's going to end.
Yeah, it's a little predictable.
I just feel like it was a decent essay. It's just that it's kind of like it's old. It's just kind of old school, you know. It's like something's been and done that like a million times. There's no like unique. You can't really like find anything about that person. It really just tells about the experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yep.
But also, they were also delving really superficially into like the issue of like poor people in Appalachia.
Definitely superficial. Yeah.
Well, and it kind of draws attention to the fact that whoever's writing it is kind of privileged, and they're saying like, and I hadn't thought that I would be so close to these people who like have less money than me. It's kind of like drawing attention to the fact that you have
Yes.
a lot of money.
Yes. And I very rarely say there's something you shouldn't say, but don't say, wow, I really began to value all that I have when I saw how little they had. That's not good. I'll just say straight out, don't go there. But you're right, yeah. You all have made excellent points. All points that I would have made on this essay too. It's cliche. We hear it a lot. It's a little boring. It's predictable. We know what it's about. Is it bad, though? Is it bad? We're being very critical, but is it really bad? No, it's good thoughts. I mean, absolutely. I think we all have had a general experience like this, but the point is, we've all had it, okay? I call this essay a Disney essay because what it comes down to in the end is people saying, wow, you know, I met these people, I thought they were different from me, but really they're just the same, and wow, it's a small world after all. Okay? So we know we avoid Mick essays, avoid Disney essays as well. If you talk in cliches, you become a cliche in your essay, all right? It doesn't go over well. Now, with that said, again, it's not the topic that's bad. Most students do community service, and many students are greatly affected by the community service that they do. So it's, how could this person have approached this essay to make it maybe more interesting? Same topics, talking about the same experience, how could they have made it more interesting, do you think?
Details and more about like what they were doing, like how difficult it was, or like out of their comfort. Like, so not only like with meeting new people, but also I'm sure like those open houses is physically hard.
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. New experiences, being descriptive, all good things. Anything else? How else do you think they could have made it interesting? Think about if this were your topic. How could you have made that a little more interesting? Yes. About the house building, the actual experience of building the house. Yeah, definitely. Going into the details of what it was like to build the house. Yep.
Describe that one moment they had that
Yes. Yeah, the one moment where this became a big deal, where they really had that kind of epiphany about this experience. Very good, yes.
Maybe talk about a singular person that they had like an experience with instead of just generalizing it to a single person.
Yes. Maybe the one little boy they met, or one person who had a big influence on them. Yes, guys, y'all are good. I think y'all might have a career in admissions counseling someday if you'd like to. Y'all are doing great. That's all good things. All ways, and we'll talk about this more a little bit later. These are all ways that you could make these essays better, okay? All ways that you could do better. You're talking about making it a smaller thing. You're not talking about the entire trip. You're talking about one aspect of the trip and going into greater detail. And that's really what you're looking for in a college essay, okay? Very good. Very good. Okay, I'm going to read an excerpt from an essay. This was an actual essay that we received, and I just want to get your observations on this one, okay? Okay. From an early age, we accept death as the inevitable, but do not comprehend its actual denotation. Death is the impending future that all people must eventually grasp. In my early teens, my grandfather tragically perished. As a youth who did not identify with such a cataclysm, I was saturated with various emotions. Initially, I was grieved by the loss of a loved one and could not understand why this calamity had to befall upon my family. I always considered death to have a devastating effect, but was shocked by the emotional strain it places upon an individual. Yes?
It's very distant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very like in the moment of living when they found out that your grandma had some illness or something.
Yeah, very distant, yep.
Kind of what she said. I think the big words take away from it because it makes it more like, oh, I'm trying to pack this and sound intelligent rather than like, I mean, death is like a hard topic to write about, but if you write about it, I think like you should write about it more personally and just big words kind of make it like, oh, I'm writing about someone else's life.
Yes, the big words made it a little bit more distant, okay? What else?
It's kind of gloom and doom. Like, I
Gloom and
mean,
doom.
like death is like a situation, it's sad, it's grieving, but like you didn't really tell like how it affected her, but more like the sad part, like nothing else. Like, it just says about the grieving, not really any other part.
Yep, yep, exactly, yep. Anyone else? Yes?
Oh, also, they use language in a really disembodied, like characterless way, and like they didn't really have like a style, sort of. It was more like multi-syllable words without any like
Bless you.
nice sound.
Well, it sounded almost like someone had edited it for them and told them to use
More
like
complex
better
words.
language
Mm-hmm.
instead
Yeah.
of taking the words that they had used and just kind of like stuck in the
Mm-hmm.
words that their teacher would have used.
Yep, yep. Anyone else? Yes?
I thought it was kind of dry.
Yeah.
Like the saying, we all know that death is like all part of life, but then you're like, my grandmother tragically died. Like, really?
Yeah.
And it's like a strain on your family. Death usually is a strain on the family.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Did it make anyone sad?
No.
Made me sad.
Having to read it might make you sad, but did the actual experience make you sad? Like hearing about this?
No, it's like
I didn't hear anything about it.
they're just like,
Yeah,
my
we weren't
grandfather
there.
tragically died. Okay.
Yeah.
You just kind of
Okay,
said
and I
about-
just have a question. If you were talking with your friend and he said, well, how was your weekend? Would you say, well, my grandfather tragically perished this weekend? Would anyone say that? No. Would you say, I'm not, I can't understand why this calamity had to befall upon my family? I mean, would you say that? And then my favorite is that, well, I'm saturated with various emotions about this experience. Would you ever say that? You guys are laughing. This is about the death of a grandfather. But you see what I mean? I mean,
It was written before me, it's like a script.
yeah.
Like, I wrote this for you, you have to say this, and then they're going to think you're so awesome.
Yeah, see, I don't know about you guys. You're laughing. This is about a grandfather's death here. But, all right. So I think you see, guys, this would be, if the sources, if people actually had a thesaurus anymore instead of it being online, I would tell you to take a match and set it on fire before you wrote your college essay. Don't use it.